Viking, what's up? You missed a couple Dark Souls streams. I was worried about you. I was hoping you were okay. Glad you're here. Welcome in. So we're playing a new game called Tiny Bunny. So this is a visual novel. Something a little bit different. Oh, let's get rid of... Hey Jeepers. What's working now? Let's get rid of that auto timer. Doopy doopy doo. Commands. There we go. Done. Been here since the beginning, but Twitch was wigging out. Interesting. Gotcha. One sec, everyone. Alright, so this is kind of like a visual novel type thing. Oh, looks like it can only... No controller, alright. Like, action could not be completed or whatever, I got it. Well, I'm glad you're in, welcome. Welcome one, welcome all. So we're going to be playing this visual novel. This is a game that we've been challenged to play by none other than Trillian Spears. Trillian is one of the members of our stream team. I'll give him a shout. So, Spears, like so. I think that I spelled that right. I hope I spelled that right. I always get I's and E's wrong. Yep, that's right. Okay, so, just a little bit of background. Me, Mega Kirby, and Trell did a podcast for a long time, and we did it every other week on Sundays. But now we only do it once a year, and in that yearly review, we kind of talk about the games we've played, what games we're looking forward to for the next year, and then we each challenge each other to a game. So there are 2 games that I have to complete. One is this game, another is called Spiritfarers, and usually it's an interesting mix. Like, if anybody watched the first game we played this year was Armed and Dangerous, I ended up challenging Mega Kirby to play that one, and he absolutely hated it. So it's kind of like always a hit or miss. Trell gave me last year Grass Cutter Mutant Lawns, and it was absolutely awful. Probably the worst game I've ever played. So I gave it to him back for this year. So. But yeah, so this is a visual novel, so I won't be controlling as much, I don't think. I'll be more like doing voices, and we'll be experiencing the story together. So let's see how this goes, I guess. Ah, Grass Cutter. God, no. It was so bad. I got so ragey. Alright, here we go. I wonder if they have voiceover for me. If it's... Okay, no. The wind crawled at my window all night long. It wandered the fields and howled like a hungry beast. An endless song weaved from all sorts of voices. Shrill, gentle, sneery, twined in the air. They were shouting and laughing and arguing about something. Someone was running through the snow while casting long shadows that would occasionally creep close to my bed. Our house had a mind of its own, the creaky old mind of a building that had seen a lot in its days and was seemingly trying to share its wisdom with the inhabitants. The lonely house faced the forest, and the dark green thicket gazed back with its hollow eyes, rustling, whizzing, swaying back and forth. One could come out and stand at the edge of the forest to reassure themselves there was nobody behind the crooked trees. I think we need an SFK. Is that a sound effect? That's just a few seconds of the grass cutter BGM. That's all it takes. Is that the background music? Oh, yeah, that might be all that it takes, yeah. Alright, let's get back into it. Fuzzy silhouettes swaying in the wind couldn't possibly do any harm. It's just a play of light and shadow. Just a play. I knew it was just my imagination. I was already 12 after all. Still. Whoa! Did you all see that wolf? I don't think I noticed it till the very end. Did it just appear? Or was it subtle? There was a wolf in the center of the screen. Go back and clip it real quick. Okay, so it's not... It's kind of fading in. Interesting. Oh, yeah. It's slowly fading in, I think. Yeah, it fades in. Okay. Yeah, music's pretty good. Okay. Sup, Trell? What's up? Froze for a minute, your Wi-Fi. Okay. Alright, so here is the wolf. There you go. Welcome back from being frozen. Oh, and then Erasmus also clipped it. Thank you. Alright. So Trell, welcome in. So this is Trellian Spears, everyone. I already shouted you out, Trell, otherwise I'd do it again. Alright. Episode 1. The Owl Will Arrive. Oh, interesting. I thought they'd be like anthropomorph. Oh. Is this a different language, maybe? Hey, put away your book. How many times have I told you not to read at the table? It's bad for your health. Look at how slouched you are. Alright, so we can hide the book. Okay, so I guess we're this character here. So we can... Okay, so we do interact. It does sound almost Russian. I didn't protest and put the book about Conan the Barbarian aside. Yo! I was stuck on a line I couldn't understand after reading it 3 times anyway. Olya had already finished her breakfast and was munching on some cookies. She was so enthusiastic she almost looked like your typical girl from commercials. You're not going anywhere until you finish all of it. I, on the other hand, was still trying to drill a hole in the plate with my eyes, as if it would make the porridge disappear. Hazy anxiousness welled up inside, all because of the previous sleepless night, the black forest around our house, and the gloomy wind. The longer I waited, the colder the lumpy white substance became. It looked like a jellyfish from the Cortiso Odyssey. I love that show. I wonder how horrifying the bottom of the ocean is, or how cold the Black Forest is at night. The spoon fell out of my hand. Mom showered me with a cold glare from her green eyes. What did I say? I'll get it. I had 10 seconds to catch my breath before battling the nasty porridge once again. You can tell the ocean is pretty horrifying. I need to play Subnautica. I burned to death the only time I've played that game. I felt around for the spoon. What is this? Carved on the other side of the table. Karina. Huh. That's my mom's name. I guess she carved it out with something pointy when she was little. She sure was a rascal, damaging the furniture like that. She would scold me for a week if I did something similar, though. Should I remind her about it? No. She's been in a bit of a mood lately. I imagined her being my age, sitting under this table. I wonder, was Mom afraid of the dark back then? Or the sounds coming from the attic? Or the thick forest? I imagined my grandma coming into my little mom's room, sitting at the edge of her bed where Olya sleeps nowadays, and saying this in her soft, smooth voice. Taiga is a special place, little girl. It's watching you closely, sniffing you out, trying to discern what kind of beast you are. If you're a good sort, it won't abandon you in times of trouble. But if you're a bad apple, it'll grab you by the side and drag you under the ground. And that would be it. Grandma was caring. She never fought with anybody, never yelled, never swore. Those were the times without the maddening screams until late at night, without smashed dishes and mutual accusations. Our parents used to love each other back then. I remember listening in on one of those conversations by chance. They were talking about Grandma getting prepared for her funeral. She had already bought a casket. And she called it her cute funeral box. It waited for its time in the closet, patiently. It was black, upholstered with meat-colored material on the inside. I saw it when my grandma was getting buried. The house didn't change since the time she was alive. Only all of the photos were gone. Glass-covered pictures with gray faces of my ancestors. They all had a dead but watchful look in their eyes. I crawled out from under the table. Olya was done with her cookies, and she was looking at my share like a sly woodland critter. I turned my gaze toward the frosted window. There were a lot of dark pines outside, but they didn't grab my attention. The pattern of frost formed a picture on the glass. Is that another wolf here?
Оля, гляди, лиса!
There it is. Or is that a raccoon? Oh, it's a fox. Olya, look, it's a fox. Where? It almost looked like those optical illusion thingies they put on the back of student notebooks. So if we had missed it the first time, we'd see it this time. A mixture of lines at first glance, but if you blur your vision a little bit and look under a certain
Ты не
angle.
на улице, на стекле.
Not outside, on the window.
Смотри, вот нос, вот.
Look here, the nose.
Ну-ка,
And
доедай.
here's... Hey,
Да,
eat
да,
up.
сейчас.
Yes, just a
Я
moment.
ничего не вижу.
I don't see anything.
Совсем немного осталось.
Hurry up, there's not much left.
Вот.
Ah, there it is.
Похоже.
But it still
А
doesn't
я
look like
говорю,
one.
похоже.
And I'm telling you it does.
Похоже.
Nuh-uh.
Прекратите.
It does.
Ну что за дети?
Stop it. These kids, I swear. Now I couldn't see the fox either. Yeah, it's gone. It disappeared. Went away. Only the frosty patterns, similar to stretched out nettle leaves, kept creeping up the glass. My dad entered the kitchen with long, measured steps. I want to have a beard like his when I grow up. Mom would always ask jokingly, "Come on, shave it off, it stings." This was so long ago. Nowadays, rumbling doors and witty comebacks were an everyday occurrence. Olya always covers her ears whenever she hears something like, "What's the point in all this?" though, through the wall. It's all for your own sake, Dad would reply. For the family's sake. For the sake of our family. I always caught every sound in fear of hearing the most dreadful, the deadliest word that started with a D. D-I-V-O. I don't even want to finish it. Divorce, got it. It was scary to imagine that me and my little sister could be torn apart and taken into two different families.
Вот у меня
Anyway,
сова.
your fox is nothing. I have an owl in my
Опять ты
window.
со своей совой.
You and your owl talk
Ты же
again.
вчера мне верил.
You said you believed me just yesterday.
Никто ключи от машины не
Has
видел?
anybody seen my car
Вроде
keys?
оставлял на подоконнике.
I remember leaving them on the
Вроде.
windowsill.
Вроде
Right.
оставлял, вроде нет.
Maybe you did, and
Вроде
maybe
взрослый
not.
мужчина, отец
You're a
троих
grown
детей,
man,
вроде.
a father of two,
Перестань,
and
пожалуйста,
still...
Карина.
Karina, please
Дай
stop.
мне спокойно собраться.
Just let me get ready
В
in
корзине
peace.
твои ключи, возле
Your
телефона.
keys are on the basket near the
Огромное
farm.
тебе человеческое спасибо.
Well, thank you very much.
Антон, ешь быстрее, а то как мученик сидишь.
Anton, stop making a martyr of yourself and finish eating already. But the
Не было там
owl.
никакой совы.
There was no owl,
Была.
but there was one.
Огромная.
It had giant glowing eyes. Olya sprung up from the chair and placed her hands on her little face, imitating a pair of eyes with her fingers, the size of an
В
apple
прошлом году
each.
бабай в шкафу. Сейчас
Last
сова.
year you had Babai in your closet, and now this owl.
Я же видела.
But I saw it. Olya shifted her gaze back and forth from Dad to Mom to me, but couldn't find any
А ты не
support.
думала подружиться с ней, нет?
Have you thought about befriending it?
Вымышленными мышами
You know,
покормить,
like
например.
feeding it with imaginary
Не
mice.
подначивай ребенка.
Don't bully our
Просто мала
girl.
еще. И спать одна
She's
боится.
just afraid to sleep alone because she's still little. Olya pouted her lips in rebellion and rushed into the hallway. Welcome back, Jeepers. I'm so sorry. The staircase that led to the second floor creaked. Mom gave Dad a strict look. Oh, that look in her eyes. It's so uncomfortable to be pinned under it. Dad just snorted in reply and left, ringing with the keys he just found. Oop, I went too far. A minute had passed, and the theme song from The Little Mermaid echoed through the house. I thought I heard that. It was stored on incredibly worn out cassette tape, which Dad already had to glue together once. It's so easy to fix objects by gluing them back together, for example. But how do you fix a relationship? But also about to be in the shower, so lurking for 10 minutes. Hopefully it doesn't freak out while I shower. Yeah, hopefully. Thank you for the +1. Mom moved to the living room and I was alone, anxiously stealing glances at the window. Olya had trouble sleeping ever since we moved to this house. She would toss and turn or curl up into a ball under her blanket. Sometimes she would jump up in the middle of the night and turn on the VCR. Cartoons helped to take her mind off all the troubles we had with the move and our parents. And Olya said she saw the giant flying monster outside her window. Yikes. She became obsessed with it. Our parents did everything in their power. They tried every little trick to get rid of those ridiculous fears. Hey, Brambles. Olya refused to sleep alone and didn't believe that the owl was just one of her nightmares. After last night, I was unsure what to make of my sister's words, what to think of it myself. Can nightmares be infectious? That night, I couldn't get a wink of sleep, and I ended up thinking of what to expect from a new school. There was a couple of days left before the beginning of a new term. My imagination drew long, twisting hallways that led to a classroom full of kids. Brambles. Thanks for the 26 months.
It's been this long
You're
already.
so great. Yeah, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I think you're my longest subscriber officially, which is really cool. Thanks for sticking around with us, and thanks for being here. My imagination drew long, twisting hallways that led to a classroom full of kids. But all the students behind their desks were simply dark figures, cut out using a template. I think Kirby's tied with you. I think might even be a little less, maybe? We'll have to see next time he subs. Circular holes gaped in the middle of their faces, and pairs of eyes blinked inside those holes. It was as if some completely different creatures were looking at me from behind the flat, black silhouettes. Their cruel glares, filled with icy sneers, made me shiver from head to toe. Will I survive here? Won't they gang up on me and beat me down, stomp on me with their bloodied shoes? The damn school can burn for all I care. I just wished for anything to happen to it. Doesn't really matter what. I didn't want to go there that badly. I didn't want to see... Sorry, let me rephrase that. I didn't want to go there that badly. I didn't want to see people who were just itching to smack me on the head, trip me up, think of a new offensive name for me, worse than the previous one. Kirby! 27 months. Just slightly, very close. Oh man, that is neck and neck. And you're currently on a 1-month streak. Thanks for the sub, Kirby, I really appreciate it. I love that heart container, by the way. It looks so good. Yeah. Sorry about that. Trell. Yeah, what's your record right now? Let's see. I'm gonna scroll down because I know Trell subbed recently. Resubscribed for 9 months. So he's at 9 months now. Wow, Brambles is in the lead with $1. You gotta get rid of some of those bots in there. Alien Gathering, Commander Root, and OAX, I think, are all bots. Alright. Yugen's beating Trell. That's pretty interesting. Yugen's not really here much. Top Wombat fan. Yep, that's right. Here, let's get rid of the bots now while we're looking and we're at a stopping point. This music is interesting. Alright, Commander Root. Has 491 hours. Who else we got here? Alien Gathering. And then OAX. Okay. So now that those are removed, let's see what our top 10 is now. Trell still isn't there. How about top hours? falling the fifth, yeah. I didn't want to see people who were just itching to smack me on the head trip me up, think of a new offensive name for me, worse than the previous one. I felt like the glasses I wore made me an outsider or some sort of monster. My gaze slid across the drawings hanging on the walls. We got a cat, a castle, looks like an island or maybe a plane, and then a guy with a sword. I couldn't consider myself a great artist, but Olya begged me to hang them. Drawing was the only thing that made me happy as of late. A small circle of friends I had also enjoyed my paintings, and they promised to call me from time to time. Sometimes I imagine Mom picking up the phone and saying in a cold voice, "You've got the wrong number." Or, "Anton is not around." Anton is not around. I imagine my future classmates lying in their beds just like me, listening to the howls of invisible werewolves outside their windows. Maybe my new classmates will like me after all. Oh, jeepers. But who would ever like a boy with thick glasses? I mean, my dad used to wear glasses when he was little, and now he's married to the most beautiful woman on the planet. My mom. The house creaked, pressed by the wind. The condo we used to live in, a 9-floor concrete building, buzzed with the neighbor's drill, mumbled with a TV set from behind the wall, cried like a baby from the big family next door. Indeed, jeepers. Our current house, though I can't really call it new, was completely different. It was silent and easygoing during the day. Its shadows lay dormant in the corners, on the closet cobwebs, and under the stairs. But they all woke up during the night. Something was watching me from every corner, almost as if the old photos of my deceased family, with their ashen eyes, were hanging on the walls in place of my drawings. The floor was squeaking, rusty drains were moaning, the attic was occupied by noisy drafts. One could think the house was performing some sort of demonic melody. And then I realized I was, in fact, hearing music. It was already playing for a good while. Somewhere at the edge of my perception, I could hear a flute. Nice, jeepers. And if you keep having those problems, I recommend maybe trying turning off your phone and on again, or making sure Twitch is updated. Sometimes that helps me. So that's what the music we're hearing right now is, the flute. It was mixed with the sound of the wind, of the creaking old house, and my thoughts, too. I stood up and rushed to the window. I wanted to reassure myself that this music was nothing more than a product of my own imagination. It was not like somebody's playing it there amidst the cold, snowy night, right? Interesting. Someone was dancing in the field. So the fox is playing, and we've got a bird, a bear, and wolves? Or more foxes, maybe? Black silhouettes I could barely make out, with the dark forest as their backdrop. They jumped around, basked in the moonlight, bumped into piles of snow, rolled around and crawled on all fours. Stories about wolves playing under the moon came to mind, but these were clearly not wolves. I mean, not clearly. They stood upright at times, circled around holding hands and whipping up snow, disappearing into the shadows for a brief moment, and then coming back. Something bizarre was going on. Shadows dancing in the starless abyss made my imagination go wild, making me anxious at the same time. Suddenly, the music stopped. The dancing shadows froze in place, and I could swear pierced me with their eyes. One of the silhouettes immediately parted from the bizarre shadow carnival and sprinted across the field with great leaps. It glided on squeaky snow without leaving any prints until it was devoured by the pitch-black shadow of my house, which became even darker and thicker. My heart was jumping around like the bird inside a cage. I shut the curtains with a swift motion and stepped back toward the bed. They saw me. A freezing torrent of fear washed over me. I stood in the middle of a perfectly dark room and listened to some unwanted guest move and scrape around, looking for an entrance. The sound moved to the right and circled around the house. Now my guest should be at the front door. I jumped into bed and covered myself with the blanket as if it could protect me. The shackles of fear locked my muscles. I remembered the funeral. My grandma lying there, hands crossed on her chest, her facial features sharp like that of a tin doll. Ants running up and down the legs of chairs that held my grandma's casket. I imagined those little creatures climbing up her head and pulling up her eyelids with their tiny legs. Then her wrinkly eyeballs would once again move inside their sockets and she'd be able to see her grandchildren. Ugh. You need a blanket and some tea? Well, thank you. I was chanting the spell she taught me throughout the whole procedure. And now, lying under the blanket and listening to squeaks and howls, I was repeating the same words. On the island of Buyan, underneath the blemished sun, in the sea of the color blue, stands a cabin made of wood. There lay lard and ashen hair for the spawn from some devil's lair to feast and always leave alone God's faithful servant named Anton. Evil leave this house must. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. Bizarre sounds had disappeared. I cautiously peeked out from under the blanket and saw curtains waving around like a hanged man. And then the house doused me with a new portion of boiling terror. The sound scratched at my eardrums. In reality, something or someone was scratching at the front door, hurriedly clawing at wood, demanding to be let in. The door was shut. Dad had become very cautious recently, so he'd installed a sturdy lock. I remember him staring at the forest intently, as if looking for someone. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. I hugged my knees, placing my chin between them, and drilled the door with my eyes. It was so flimsy and weak before the might of darkness. And then the doorknob twitched slightly. Then it turned halfway, once, twice, as if the person who tried to enter had no hands. The doorknob tilted once more and then started clicking violently. My jaw cramped from fear. My wet fingers clutched the blanket. The door creaked and opened. The wind taunted me, moaning inside the tin drains. Now you'll see. The door was wide open. The darkness writhed in the carnivorous mouth of a doorway. 2, Sha. It was as if night itself was calling out to me, flapping its black wings and squeaking with rusty hinges. I was trembling, ensnared by the web of darkness that hung in the corners of my room, waiting for the one who weaved it to come out of the gaping black hole. Tosni. My abdomen tightened, my chest rose up, ready to exhale a desperate stream. But before I was able to do anything, the darkness asked me, Tosha, you asleep? My sister's pale face protruded from the thick shadows. I almost screamed from relief.
Оля, я не сплю.
Olya,
Что случилось?
I'm not sleeping. Did something happen? Olya frowned and stuck out her lower lip, a clear sign that she was about to cry.
Оно опять прилетело и
It's there, again, staring at me.
прогони ее, Тоша.
Shoo her away, Tosha, please.
Так боюсь.
I'm so scared. The fear that was tormenting me just a minute ago crawled away and hid somewhere in my stomach. I needed to calm Olya down.
Это был
Olya
сон,
down.
глупая. Не пугайся.
It was just a dream, silly.
Никто тебя
Don't be
не обидит.
scared. Dreams don't bite. No one's going to harm you. Olya sobbed. She was trying her best to believe me. But was I sure
Вместе
myself? I have an
Пойдем к
idea.
тебе в комнату, видик посмотрим.
Let's go to your room
Спящий
and watch the
красавец
video
или нет?
Sleeping Beauty, for
Тебе же
example.
нравится этот мультик?
You like that cartoon, don't you?
Почему у спящей красавицы принц?
Why does the Sleeping Beauty have a prince and I have a scary bird? That question took me
Ладно,
by
давай
surprise.
посмотрим Золушку.
Alright, let's watch Cinderella. My thoughts became tangled. Fuzzy? What was that? What studied me with its eyes while dancing feverishly under the moon? The darkness was clinging to the window, and it couldn't be fooled by my grandma's old chants. It couldn't be satisfied with a feast of lard and long ashen hair.
Ты идешь?
Tosha, you
Да,
coming?
да, сейчас.
Yes, yes, just a moment. Oh. Yikes. Oh, I don't like that sound. Did that get anybody? That's why I didn't want to laugh at Olya and her owl in the morning. Yeah, that came out of nowhere. Jump scare. That's why I didn't want to laugh at Olya and her owl in the morning. So that was last night, I guess? Who could be visiting us here in the middle of nowhere? We don't know anyone around here. Yep. So persistent. I felt extremely unsettled from a silly thought that our morning guests could have come from the woods. I could barely hear voices coming from the front door. My mind was urging me to hide in the closet, under the table, behind the curtains where Olya always hides. So why do they keep calling me Tosha if my name's Anton? Tosha, come here. I felt like kettlebells were tied to my feet, but still dragged them toward the hallway. A couple of policemen towered over me in the doorway. Look at the top here on the stairs. It's a neat detail. This art's pretty cool. It's a neat style. They smelled like frost and worry. Yeah. Yeah, that could be. Our sister also called us Tosha, so I was thinking it might mean like brother. But, I guess brother could still be. Let's look Tosha up. The name Tosha is primarily a female name of Swahili in origin. Tosha is a diminutive of the Russian name Natasha. It's derived from the Latin name Natalia, meaning Christmas Day. Huh. Okay, Jeepers, no problem. Yeah, I mean, I'm enjoying reading it. Visual novels are definitely more of a thing I'm getting into to entertain you all. Yeah, it might be a trans protagonist. Yeah, that would be cool. They smelled like frost and worry. My mom always winced and grumbled the moment she saw patrol cars. Worse than bandits. At that moment, though, she looked somewhat confused.
Здравствуйте.
Hello? The senior officer, who wore a grim expression, nodded.
Тут мальчик вчера потерялся. Вовой зовут.
A boy had gone missing yesterday. His name's Volva.
Глянь,
Volva.
пожалуйста. Ты его не видел?
Volva. Oh boy. Look at this, please. Have you seen him? The policeman held out a photograph to me. There's a ginger boy around the age of elementary school pictured with a wall carpet as the backdrop. He had a striped cat in his hands and wore a wide smile.
Нет.
No, I haven't.
Точно? Посмотри
Are you
внимательно.
sure? Are you sure? Look
Где мне
closely.
его видеть? Я тут никого не знаю.
Why would
Да
I
и из
see
дома-то
him?
почти не
I don't know
выхожу.
anyone around here. I barely leave the
Может,
house.
видел в окно?
Well, maybe you've seen him from
Да.
the
У
window?
тебя ведь окна на лес.
That's right. Your windows always look straight at the forest, don't they? The window.
Нет, не видел.
No, I haven't seen anything like that.
Ясно.
Anything. I see. He sounded tired, but his eyes, his stare, long and heavy, was full of suspicion. I squirmed unwittingly under the weight of guilt, which his giant shadow cast over me. The policeman finally tore his eyes from me and glanced over the hallway, the stairway, and the cracks in the ceiling, which I haven't noticed before for some
Вы,
reason.
кстати, как на новом месте?
How do
Попривыкли
you
уже?
like your new place, by the way? Getting used to it?
Немного. Только вот дочка маленькая по
Bit
городу
by
скучает.
bit. It's just our little daughter misses the city a
Скучает,
lot.
значит. Из местных вас
Misses
никто
the
не
city,
беспокоит?
huh? Have the locals been treating
Всё
you
хорошо,
well?
спасибо.
Yes, everything is alright, thank you. The policeman pierced through me one more time with his brown eyes. My head started
Может, вам
spinning.
помочь как-то?
Can I help you somehow? I asked that in a shaky voice to look like a polite boy and to end this unpleasant conversation.
Я вот
sooner.
стою и думаю,
Now that I think
ты,
about
малец, на
it,
племеша моего похож.
you look just like one of my nephews, little
Шустрый
fella.
парнишка твоих лет. С
He's a
такими
witty
же
boy
аккуратными.
around your
Всё
age,
книжками
wears the same type of
зачитывается,
goggles.
детективами.
Always engrossed in reading those
Когда
mystery
летом
novels.
погостить приезжал,
Told me he
говорит,
wants to
что в
enroll
школу
in police
милиции
school when
мечтает поступить.
his family
Как я.
visited this summer.
Хотел людям помогать.
Wanted to help our
Смекаешь?
other people, just like me, see? I felt uncomfortable, as if a distant relative and not a police officer stood
Ох,
before me.
ребятушки,
You know what?
сидите-ка вы лучше дома.
Little boys
Не
like you
ввязывайтесь
should
ни во
stay
что.
at home. Stay away
Жизнь
from
сейчас
trouble.
совсем другая
The
пошла.
times have changed so much. Mom interjected with a cold voice.
Мне ли не знать?
You don't say.
Ну да ладно.
Ah,
Ты,
well
Антон, в
then.
каком классе учишься?
What grade are you in, Anton?
Шестом.
Друзей ты на новом месте еще не завел?
Have you made any friends here so
Пока
far?
нет. Я только после
yet.
каникул в школу пойду.
I'll be going to school for the first time after
Тогда
the
вот
break.
вам на всякий случай мой номер.
Ah, then I'll leave you
Звоните,
my
если-
number, just in case.
Если узнаете,
Call me if you have any new info. The policemen were gone along with their shadows, the smell of cheap cologne, and the photo of a smiling boy. His face still stood before my eyes. I wondered what it was like for him being all alone there. For some reason, I thought of the forest swaying in the wind. What did his poor parents feel? And what would my parents do if I'd gone missing? I see a dinosaur. Would they cry and thrash around hysterically? Or would they accuse each other like they always do and forget about me eventually?
Мам, а Вова этот в нашем лесу заблудился?
Mom, this Vova, did he go missing in our
Выходит, что
forest?
так. Бедный
Seems
ребенок.
like it. Poor child. I looked out the window at the road. The police UAZ drove off toward the village. UAZ? Okay. Bye-bye. In Slavic folklore, a nocturnal spirit used by parents to threaten their ill-behaving children. So we've got a glossary. So this is Russian. UAZ, a Soviet and Russian off-road freight passenger car brand which was produced by the Ulyanovsk car factory. The officer's nephew came to mind when I was splitting off old paint from the windowsill. I remembered all the teenage mystery novels from the Black Kitty series I've read this summer. Black Kitty, a series of contemporary Russian original or translated teen mystery books. It's kind of like the Hardy Boys. Emphasis is usually on the second syllable in Russian. So, Ulyanovsk. Your average boys and girls investigate all sorts of mysteries there. They looked for clues, spied on suspicious people, and after a set of amazing adventures, BAM! Solved a complicated case. They became local celebrities and must have made their parents very proud. I noticed a trail of policemen's footprints that led to the forest. And then it clicked in my head. Why don't I start investigation of my own? Maybe I'll find the lost boy. And I'll get a reward. Olya will be so happy. And not only Olya, Mom and Dad too. Maybe they'll even forget about their quarrels for a while. Maybe I'll even save us from the D word. I fantasized about buying Olya a Tamagotchi and getting a cassette player and a bunch of tapes for myself. And a whole box of Kinder Surprise. When was the last time our parents bought us any toys? Last autumn, I think. My dad had lost his job at the time. There's that annoying song about it. Account, a song by an all-female Soviet pop band called by the name of Kombayatsia Combination that became widely popular in the early 90s. I had little to no idea what was the accountant's job like. They count money, I think. Neighbors used to envy us. But nowadays, Mom and Dad barely had money to afford sweets, and Dad would always divide a single chocolate bar between me and Olya. Sometimes I gave her my share too. No matter how much I wanted to eat sweets, she was still just a pipsqueak. I couldn't wait to go out
Пойду
looking for
погуляю.
clues. I'm going outside.
Ага, сейчас.
Yeah,
Чтобы потом
right.
милиционеры с твоей
You want
фотографией
the
по домам
police to
ходили.
go around with your photograph
Лес вон
next
какой
week?
густой.
The forest
А
is
если
so
мальчика
thick.
звери дикие утащили?
What
Или
if the
того
boy
хуже?
got snatched up by the wild animals? Or something even worse? Even worse, echoed through the
Я
hallway.
рядом буду. В лес не пойду.
I won't go far. Oh, oops. I won't go far. I'll stay away
Что я
from the
тебе сказала?
forest.
Мне дважды
Did you
повторять.
hear what I said? Or should I repeat myself?
Лучше портфель собери или соли поиграй.
Better go pack your school bag or play with Olya. The sound of splashing water came from the kitchen. It meant that the argument was over and Mom had the last word. Okay, so we have different places we can go. We can not listen to our mom and go to the front yard. We can go to the kitchen where Mom is doing dishes, or we can go into the cupboard under the stairs. What do y'all think? Should we follow our mother, go to the front yard, or go under the steps? Make a save state first and then decide, nope, we're doing this all together, so whatever we play is whatever we play. Okay, Kirby's vote is kitchen. Front yard, so we've got a kind of a split vote here. So we have one for being a good boy, which is I think the cupboard where Olya is playing. Kitchen where Mom is. And front yard, so we have one for each. Oh. There's things we can look at. My parents prohibit me from making long distance calls, but from time to time I really want to hear my old friends. Sometimes I would just pick up the phone, listen to the low hum of the zoomer on the distant crackling, imagining the wind howling in the ice leaden chords. This cross had seen so many people come and go in this house. It was black as if it absorbed all human sin from the long years it was hanging under the ceiling. After Grandma died, Mom was going to take it off and hang a horseshoe in its place as a lucky charm, but she cut herself with the cross's sharp corner and almost fell from the stepladder. Dad called it a sign from above and ordered the cross to be left alone in its rightful place. Alright. Mom's peg top, a family relic. My mom played with it when she was little, then she gifted it to me. Olya was next in the succession line. The toy belonged to her now. She stared at the dancing spindle as if it could show her something, a fairy tale or maybe even our future. Now, even my sister was a bit too old for the old squeaky peg top. Alright, so what did the prediction leave us with? Anything? I mean, the kitchen we've already seen. I'm kind of curious what's in here. Let's go in here. The dark, stuffy closet. Mom says it smells like mice, but how would she know their smell? She hates when I stick my nose. There's an axe in here, good to know. Nose in there. She's afraid I'll cut myself on the freshly sharpened axe. And Olya can't even be lured close to it. She thinks Babai is living there. I tried to help her fight her fears once. I opened the door and turned on a dim lamp so she would see there was nothing but cobwebs, Dad's tools, and scratched walls. She still didn't believe me. Alright, what's that? And I liked to hide in the closet and listen to Olya count outside. 1, 2, 3, better hide from me. And then drag her feet on the creaking floorboards, hoping that she wouldn't need to look for me in the cramped monster's den. Okay, so it looks like... Anton, get your ass out of the closet immediately. Scratched by what? Probably just wear and tear or from the drawings, right? Let's go to the kitchen. Open the fridge. Open the freezer. Grandma kept ice cream for me and Olya there, but now I could only see meat bits for soup and clumped together pelmeni. Pelmeni? I grew to hate them already. Pelmeni, a Russian variety of dumplings made by boiling thin, unleavened dough filled with mincemeat. One may even call it Russian fast food. Alright, turn back. Lie to Mom. It was difficult to lie to Mom, but there was no other way for me to run away from
там
home.
что-то с телевизором случилось.
Mom, something's wrong with the TV.
Тусклая, и
The
экран
picture is
весь
dim
плоский.
and there are stripes all over the screen. Mom's face became visibly distorted. Ah, you're killing me here. So you have had enough of shooting those stupid ducks now? I told you the kinescope will go dim because of
Где
your
мы теперь мастера найдем
console.
в дыре этой, а?
Where will we find a TV technician in this
Может
hole,
быть,
huh?
просто настройки сбились.
Maybe it's just the
Сходи,
settings?
посмотри, пожалуйста.
Please go see for yourself.
Нормально же работало.
Strange. It worked fine in the
Из-за
morning.
снегопада, наверное, неполадка.
Maybe the snowfall caused it? Mom rubbed her hands and wiped her hand. Let's rephrase that. Mom rubbed her hands clean on her apron and went to Olya's room. Got it. So we wouldn't have been able to go out the front door anyway. She would have stopped us because she was in the kitchen. I opened the front gate. So everybody wins. But we went to the front yard. So let's give it to Erasmus. I opened the front gate and went into the field. Carefully, so Mom wouldn't see me from the window. Looks like an old farmhouse. When I crossed half of the distance toward the forest, the snow piles became as high as my knees. I remembered my nightly fears. I saw the silhouettes around here. They were jumping around, holding hands. That hypnotizing music started playing in my head all on its own. In the light of day, those distant figures felt like a simple dream. The sun turned my nightmares to ash, but the aftertaste was still there. Distant ringing in my ears, distorted shadows crawling on the snow alongside me, and a barely audible whisper in my head, blurry and almost kind. Everything was silent. So silent, I felt like the world was totally empty. No ground, no sky, no parents, no Olya. The time reached its limit, a one-way trip that ended at the forest's piney stockade. Sometimes, silence was much scarier than any scream. So I see one pine tree, but these are not pine trees. Our parents would scream at each other while arguing, and both me and Olya turned to stone listening to them. But then always came the ringing silence. Our apartment became numb a couple of days before we departed. It was hard to remember the last time Mom and Dad joked around, laughing, or spent time together, almost like all of it was in a previous life. When they kissed with Olya present, she always frowned and snorted in a funny way. But one day, it all changed. Something important had left our home, and something scary filled the remaining void. It was as if a fire broke out and our parents were hurriedly packing our belongings, trying to save themselves and us. From who, though? From the people with cold, dead eyes, who sometimes visited us in our previous home? The eyes that only saw balls of worms on the black ground and everything? And somewhere far away a siren was going off, trying to warn us of some coming menace. I shuddered, chasing away my delusions, and looked around. There was only me, the white field, and the wind that was whipping up icy dust and belts of powdered snow. I squinted from the sun and turned my eyes to the sunless forest. It looked especially dark in contrast with the blinding whiteness. Knobby tree roots slithered under the snow like fat snakes. Rotten leaves and coniferous needles froze into the ice. Dry, prickly branches intertwined. There's a glove there, it looks like. Bringing up uncomfortable thoughts about fences. Were they protecting the forest? Or were they keeping something from breaking out? Some object was hanging from one of their pointy branches. I tried to get closer, drowning in snow, and when I almost got to the edge of the forest, I saw a knitted mitten. It looked like a wounded bird, almost among the hungering semi-dark. Should I take it to the police? Their senior officer looked gloomy, but he still reminded me of Captain Casanova from my favorite TV show called The Streets of Broken Lights. Streets of Broken Lights, a Russian mystery TV series telling the story of the daily life of Russian police officers. It's the longest running series in the history of Russian TV at the moment. Interesting. He was also always anxious, with a tired look in his eyes, but still brave and strong. Will this mitten help them find the lost boy? Vova! I heard a distant shout. Looked like it came from the river. Vova! As if the trees were calling out to someone. Vova! Resounded closer to me. Someone was standing there behind the trees, hiding. Vova! I knew someone was looking for the lost boy, but still, something was unsettling about that figure. Where's the figure? Its stillness, how it was bent unnaturally toward the ground. I don't see it. Its blackness. There was no one there, just branches and roots. It's all just my imagination. A nearby bird flaps its wings loudly. A shadow split from the tree and disappeared from my sight. I didn't even see that. I looked away for just a moment, but when I turned my gaze back to the same place, it was gone. So it was my imagination after all. Silence reigned for a painfully long time. My muscles were tightly sprung, my heart was beating somewhere in my throat. Any noise, any little movement, any small whisper from the thicket and I'd sprint. But nothing of that sort happened. I looked at the mitten once more. So do we take it or run away? Alright, we got 2 for take. Alright, we are taken. Take. I decided to take the lonely mitten from the branch. Oh. Oh. Oh, Shout rumbled across the field and dissolved into the distance. No echo, no hope for reply. I stepped toward the bristly trees and tried to claim my find. It didn't budge. I pulled harder, the branch cracked and the mitten tore off, landing in my hand with a squishy sound. All too heavy, wet. I squeezed it without thinking and something dark spilled from it, only a tiny stream between the mitten and the snow. stain rose from the snow pile. Blood. I froze in place, studying my palms in disgust. Red. The sound of cracking branches invaded the silence. I didn't have to think twice before running away. Someone was chasing me from the darkness, breaking pine branches, closing the distance with giant leaps. Snow was slowing me down. Crazy thoughts flew from my mind. I'll get caught. They'll get me. I get dragged into the thicket. I'll be gone forever. Forever. But there was one more voice, probably one of reason. It gave me the strength and spurred me on. You can do it. Don't stop. I heard an animal roar behind me. It was so loud my ears went numb. It felt like the sound had come from a pack of hungry beasts rather than a single one. Their nostrils sucked in freezing air. They sensed my fear. 2 giant wings flapped above my head. An enormous shadow flew over the clearing. A hoot, a wheeze. The roars were coming from all directions now. From the dried up raspberry bushes, from twisted pines, from under the windfall. Hurry, don't look back. It felt like I was inside a nightmare. The snowy clearing became viscous like quicksand. I was stuck in place. I pulled my leg from the mushy trap just to be caught in a new one, even deeper than before. I continued to drown, sinking deeper and deeper with every desperate push. Was snow ever this sticky? I screamed in horror after realizing this wasn't snow. Someone or something in the snow pile was clutching my pants. I gathered all my strength and rushed forward. The pressure on my leg was gone. My boots slipped out from the hole and my soles were on hard surface again. I reached a clear path with one jump and from there ran to my house. Its gloomy facade didn't look threatening now. That house was my line of defense from the shadows that flapped their wings and the creatures that were hidden under the snow. I tripped over the doorstep and smashed into the door. In all my hurry, I still managed to notice the claw marks, as if a dog was striking the wood with its paws, demanding to be let in so it could escape the cold. I hadn't noticed these marks when I was leaving. The heartbeat in my ears was much louder than my surroundings. I couldn't hear whether someone was following me or not. What if they were already in our front yard and Mom had locked the door? Drowning in fear, I pulled on the doorknob and obediently gave way. I rolled into the hallway and shut the door behind me. Porch planks creaked as my pursuers ascended the stairs. My fingers slipped off the lock and I couldn't click it into place. I gritted my teeth and pulled hard on the iron knob, whipping it between the boards. I stared blankly at the door. Someone was standing on the other side of the pitiful, flimsy barrier that was probably less useful than blankets. Wheezing breath reached into the house and crashed at me in waves. It smelled of pine and sweat. Welcome back, Jeepers. Your car was broken? I didn't know that. Mom peeked out of the kitchen and chastised me with the same frigid voice she always used when talking to Dad. What exactly didn't you understand when I told you to never slam the door? I didn't mean to. I stuck a glance at the door. The smell was gone and the breath was too. If there was someone in the first place, of course. Here, mere 5 minutes away from my mom, or 5 meters away from my mom, my fear was slowly weakening, melting like snow in spring, and with it the last bit of strength I had left my body too. I'm glad that it was an easy fix. My legs gave way.
What do you want me to
Alexa, stop. I propped myself up against the wall so I wouldn't fall over. Mom's expression had changed immediately. The cold mask of strictness and detachment was gone. Mom looked the same as before all those quarrels. She finally saw my condition, my wet pants plastered with snow.
Я тебе что говорила, а?
Where have you
Чтобы ты
been?
дома сидел.
What did I tell you, huh? I told you
Я
to
иду
stay
тебя
home.
пустое место.
Am I nothing to you now? To you too? I got afraid she would cry. I reached out to her like when I was very little and wanted her to cuddle me. But Mom regained her composure fast and put on her usual face. Her eyes shined like steel.
У отца сигареты
Her voice
достала.
rang out. Your dad can't find his
Признавайся, ты их
cigarettes.
стащил.
Be
Курить
honest.
бегаешь.
Did you snatch them? Were you smoking in secret?
За мной
I
кто-то
that
гнался.
there was something,
думал,
someone
меня-
chasing me. I thought. I stuttered as soon as I started explaining myself. Tears welled up in my eyes. Mom leaned toward me and sniffed my clothes like a beast searching for the smell of tobacco. Then she squinted her eyes in suspicion and looked into the front yard. Her expression changed in an instant and she covered her mouth with her hand.
Прямо у забора.
Look over there, at the fence. My heart started thumping as if I became prey once again and my pursuers were following me in the field. I could swear that I've heard someone scratching at the door, just like my nightmare. Mom beckoned me with her finger and I gathered all my remaining bravery to look into the kitchen window facing my fear. I could barely discern some hairy silhouettes swimming in the snow through the icy winter patterns on the glass. Dogs. Just a small pack of strays with no name and owner, barely reminding of the hungry monsters that live on the edge of the forest.
Кошечки, ты их испугался?
Oh boy, were you
Да они
scared
сами
of
тебя
them?
перепугаются,
I
Антон.
think they'd rather be scared of you,
Они погнались
Anta.
за мной.
They were
Словно
chasing me
зайцы.
like
А
a
вдруг они
bunny.
бешеные?
What if they're rabid? The smile had slowly disappeared from Mom's face. Now she looked at the dogs as if it was her
Что
first
если
time
они
seeing
нападут
them.
на Олю?
What if they attack
Mom.
Olya?
Вот
Mom,
бы твой отец их всех перестрелял.
I wish your dad could just
Mama,
shoot them all.
Они живые.
Mom, look,
А что?
they're alive.
Ты уж
Huh?
определись,
What?
они тебе друзья или враги?
Are they your friend or foe after all?
Не
Make up
маленький
your
ведь уже.
mind. You're not a little kid anymore. Mom sighed in annoyance, and I felt so bitter that I bit my lower lip and fixed my gaze on the cobweb-ridden corner just to keep myself from crying. Just think of me as a radio. Hi, Jeeps Hubs. Welp, some detective I am. In reality, I wasn't risking my life among monsters, but rather my pants among a pack of stupid strays. And what for? What use do I have for this? Mitten. Of course! A darkened, sticky mitten that belonged to the lost boy made a squishy sound in my hand. Seems like I was clutching it the whole time. That's my trump card as a detective. I hurried to present this clue to my
Мам,
mom.
смотри, это Вовина варежка.
Mom, look, this is Volva's Vova's
Того,
mitten.
которого утром милиция спрашивала.
The boy the police were
Оно
asking
всё в
about in the
крови,
morning.
на дереве
It's
висело.
drenched in blood. I
Вон
found it
там,
hanging
могу
on a
показать.
tree.
Давай в милицию
I can
скорее
show
позвоню.
where.
Как нас участковый
Let's call the
просил.
police right away. Like
Мам,
the
гляди.
officer had told us to. Mom, look. Ew. A shadow of doubt slowly crept onto Mom's contorted face, as if she was trying to remember something distant, like someone tries to remember their dream, but the images slip
А ну-ка
away.
прекрати сейчас же.
Stop
Оля тебя
this
услышит, с
moment.
ума сойдет.
Olya will
Она
go
и так
insane if she hears
На все
you.
подряд жалуется.
She already has trouble sleeping and
Еще и ты со
whines
своими
all the
шуточками.
time. And you joke around like this? At that moment, I realized the mitten was actually wet from snow. There was no blood whatsoever. I wanted to sink through the floor from embarrassment.
Иди сюда, паникер.
Come here, my boy, who
Ты не
cried
стой
wolf.
столбом.
Oh,
Вот,
don't just stand there.
Быстро.
Come take your pills. A golden colored pill reminiscent of a dead wasp fell into
Я
my
уже пил
palm.
сегодня, за завтраком.
I already took one during breakfast.
Попререкайся мне еще.
Don't talk
Сказала
over
дома
me.
сидеть. Нет же.
I told you to stay
Был бы
home
отец
and
выпорол.
you... Dad would have given you a good whipping
Сейчас
for
же выпей, а
that.
то ночью не уснешь.
Come on, take
Ты
it
в школу
or you
завтра.
won't be able to sleep at night. And you have school tomorrow. So, I had to swallow the bitter medication, drinking it down with similarly awful water that gave off a taste of chlorine. Maybe it wasn't Vova's mitten. Maybe it wasn't a mitten at all. Just like the forest monsters and Olia's owl. Am I going mad? What's happening to me? Either the pill had an immediate effect, or my overexerted brain didn't let fear inside anymore. Serenity washed over me, bringing yawning indifference along with it. I don't like the look of this.
Антон, выпил? Можешь, если захочешь.
Anton, you done? See, you can do it when you try.
Раздевайся. Уснул, что ли?
Take off your coat. Are you
Нет,
asleep?
мам, просто задумался.
No, Mom. I was just
Интересно, о чем
thinking.
же?
About what,
Да.
I wonder?
Глупости
It's-
всякие.
Just something silly. Mom scrutinized me with suspicious eyes, as if she wasn't sure she was looking at her own son, and not some doppelganger that came
Точно
from
всё
the
нормально?
forest. Is everything
У тебя
alright?
такое лицо было, когда
You had
милиционер
the
красную
exact same
спросил.
expression when the policeman asked you
Все
about the
нормально,
window.
мам.
I'm alright, Mom. She heaved a deep sigh. Fine. It seemed like the house had changed. The sofa's fabric had become discolored. Fingerprints appeared on the bathroom tiles. The light bulbs also felt different, dimmer, yellower. Even the saliva inside my mouth had a different taste. A melody from Aladdin could be heard from the upper floor. Olia had done rewatching her favorite Little Mermaid episodes and switched to other tapes. I slowly changed into my home clothes, stopped before the sink, and studied my reflection in the mirror. Like I was trying to solve one of those spot the difference puzzles. Then I went upstairs. Jafar's and Iago's voices died down. Wit's end! I walked past Olia's bedroom and slipped into my own. Let's open the drawer. Oh wait, what other things can we do? Alright, we got dinosaur up here. My Triceratops figurine. I know all about I know about all sorts of dinosaurs. Velociraptors, Afrovenators, Hypsilodonts. I remember going to the movies to see Jurassic Park back when we still lived in the city and taking pictures with the T-Rex in the hall. It turned its head and roared. It was awesome. And next to it was a Robotech Transformer. I love this cartoon. When a jet fighter speeds up in the intro among the sounds of blaster fire, you know your next 20 minutes will surely be amazing. Zentra D space station is captured. Rick, get ready for battle. What else we got? The forest didn't look as grim during the day. Entangled tree branches in the distance and the snowy field between our house and the forest brought sleepiness to my eyes. But sometimes I would still catch myself looking in the window at the icy treetops instead of doing my homework. What else we got? The drawings. I've dreamt of becoming an artist since my dad bought me my first comic book. Fly magazine was the coolest. I especially liked the big space-related edition with alien monsters and that funny episode about Gendarme. Okay, so Fly, the first Soviet and Russian periodic adult comics magazine. Extremely popular during the crazy 90s. What made the magazine stand out was the refusal to use material from its foreign counterparts. Got it. I started drawing all kinds of stuff since that day, and I seem to be getting pretty good at it. One of my letters even got published in Fly once. Maybe someday they'll even publish my comic. Cool. Alright, we've got a journal too over here, or a book at the Monsters, Ghosts, UFOs, the Encyclopedia of Paranormal Phenomenon from Roseman Publishing. I've learned about the Loch Ness Monster, Medusa Gorgon, and Bigfoot from there. Olia is scared of the book. She could barely handle sifting through the monster and alien sections with me, but the middle part, where they start to talk about ghosts, really freaked her out. I even remember hunting ghosts after I'd read the book. I measured the distance between items on my table every evening and checked if they'd moved due to some supernatural force come the morning. They didn't. But to be honest, what was I expecting? To meet Casper the Ghost? Let's open the drawer. Let's just double check though. Holy crap! Olia is here. She's behind the curtain there. Look, there's her feet. She's been there the whole time. Oh, that's creepy. Okay. Yeah. One of the drawers was empty. I hid the mitten there. Hey, we got an achievement. Where are you, Vova, is the achievement. This simple action drained the last bit of strength from me. I sat on the bed. And only then I noticed there was someone behind the curtains. My tired hand dropped to the sheets. Whether it was due to medication I took or the stress I underwent, the room began to contort as if the wind was blowing the walls out like a pair of sails. The corners of the room bent and undulated. The only stable thing in the whole room was the figure between the windowsill and the curtains. A flimsy piece of cloth was strung to my hidden visitor. It reminded me
Оля,
of burial sheets. Oh yeah? Who else would be standing there? I stood up and licked my
Оля,
dried
очень
lips.
смешно.
Yeah, oh yeah, it's so funny. The silhouette was unmoving. It was enveloped softly by the curtains, as if there was a thick layer of darkness there. Not a human being. I reached toward the curtains. But beat my heart, controlled by medication. The wind sang in the field with a chorus of voices. For a second, I wanted to return to the bed, just lie down and watch the person behind the curtain, knowing full well they were looking back at me. They're looking without blinking, waiting for me to fall asleep. Plastic rings rustled against the holder when I pulled open the curtains. Gotcha!
Понял, что это ты.
I knew it was you from the beginning. A blindingly bright halo lit up as Olia's head with the setting sun as the background. My sister was shining. When she was just a baby, Dad always used to say she was shining with happiness. I always retorted, but Dad, she's not some flashlight. But I brought her to the window one day and sunlight poured on her smiling face. I felt like I was holding a light-woven child. I saw everything. Oh, really? What do you hide? She was just like my mom when she was little, before she put on her sad mask of tiredness and switched to her commanding tone of voice. Okay, Beck. Have a good night. Be safe. Rest well. She was just like my mom when she was little, before she put on her sad mask of tiredness and switched to her commanding
Ничего,
tone of
просто...
voice. It's nothing, just... Olia ran up to the table, her eyes round, and asked,
теперь прячешь?
You stole something and hide it there? Are you a thief?
Что? Глупая.
What? Don't
Ничего
be
я не крал.
stupid. I didn't steal anything. A clear image came to mind, that mitten hanging from a tree branch. What if I did steal it after all? From the forest, from the tilted figure standing behind the black trees. Olya could be selfish and stubborn when she wanted. Then show me.
Клянись, что никому не скажешь. Тогда
Swear that you
покажу.
won't tell anyone. Then I'll show you. Olya wore a plotting smile.
маминым сердцем.
I swear on Mom's heart. An oath she heard in one of the movies about the pioneers we've watched. Pioneer movement, an umbrella term for communist children organizations existing around the world, somewhat reminiscent of the Scout movement. So like Boy Scouts.
Не говори так.
Boy and Girl Scouts, I should say. Don't say things like that. Olya nodded and made a gesture with her hand, locking her mouth with an imaginary key. She was filled with curiosity that was splashing in her giant eyes. I opened the drawer and Olya leaned in, holding her breath. It looked like there was not just a simple mitten, but some sort of exotic critter. Is this someone's mitten? She said that as if she couldn't understand
Один
what she
мальчик
saw.
потерял. И сам
A
потерялся.
certain boy lost it and got lost
Теперь понимаешь,
himself.
как опасно гулять в лесу.
Now,
Особенно
do you
детям.
understand how dangerous it is for kids to wander into the forest, right?
Наверное, там очень
It must be really cold out there.
Его найдут?
Will they find him?
Обязательно.
They will.
Участковый по домам ходит. Всем
The
фотографии
police are
ему
going
показывает.
house to house showing his photo to everybody. Olya traversed the room with care and pressed her tiny palms against the window.
домам ходит, а не по лесу?
And why are they going to the houses and not the forest? Are they scared? The question caught me off
Милиционеры ничего
guard.
не боятся.
The police aren't scared of
Лес они
anything.
прочесали.
They've already scouted the forest. Yeah. Yeah, right, flashed in my clouded mind. Did they really check every nook and cranny where darkness, cold, and whispers of icy branches dwell? If that's the case, how'd they miss the mitten? Or did it appear later for me? I changed the topic, as if trying to get Olya as far as possible from the
Если я
forest
сам
thicket.
найду пропавшего мальчика,
We
нам,
may
может,
get a
награду
reward
дадут.
if I go and find this
Кучу
boy
всякого,
myself.
как в поле чудес.
A lot of stuff like the Wheel of Fortune. Field of Wonders. A Soviet-Russian TV game show still running to this day, coming out every Friday, can be described as partially adapted version of Wheel of Fortune. Did I really just read? No, it says like in the Wheel of Fortune. It doesn't say Wheel of Wonders or Field of Wonders. Okay. Sounds cool, right? Olya wasn't listening to me. She was piercing the forest with incredibly adult eyes, uncharacteristic for her.
Если эта сова его утащила?
What if the owl got him?
Ерунда. Не может сова
Nonsense.
поднять человека.
The owl won't be able to
Ну
lift a
вот
human.
что.
But you know what? I was picking my words with utmost care. I forced them out of my
Ты в лес не
overexuded
суйся.
brain.
Мне кажется, он какой-то
Stay away from the forest.
Как бы
I
сказать,
think it's...
проклятый,
How should I
что
put
ли.
it? Cursed or
Как в
something.
сказке.
Just like in a fairy tale.
Скорее, как на той страшной
No.
кассете, что родители прячут.
More like that spooky tape our parents hide from us. Olya shivered and stole a glance out the window.
ты убегал.
I saw you running away. Someone was chasing you?
Нет, просто чтобы мама
No,
не волновалась,
it's
спешил
just-
домой.
I was hurrying back home so Mom wouldn't be worried. As I looked at my sister, my heart was tearing apart. She was so fragile, it was so easy to stifle her light. A gust of wind, and her small fire would be gone. You're lucky.
Мама не пускает даже на
Mom won't
крыльцо.
even let me go
Принцесса
outside.
в башне сижу.
I'm like a princess in the tower, can't go anywhere.
Тут от скуки.
I'll die from
Не
boredom here.
придумывай. От скуки
You're
еще
wrong.
никто не умирал.
No one has
У
ever
тебя же
died of
есть я и
boredom.
мультики, а мама с
And you have
папой
me
скоро
and your
помирятся.
cartoons, and Mom and Dad will be good to each other
Знаешь, что бы я
soon.
загадала на следующий день
You
рождения?
know what? I would wish for. You know what I would wish for on my next
Чтобы
birthday?
родители тоже в детей
I'd wish for
превратились.
Mom and Dad to turn
бы
into
все
children so we
вместе
could
играли,
go and play
как
together like we
Ага.
used
А
to.
если бы они стали размером
Yeah,
с
and
жука,
if you
то мы бы
make
их в
them as
спичечный
small
коробок
bugs, we
посадили.
could place them in a little box. Olya giggled and tugged at my
Тоша,
sleeve.
пойдем Аладдина смотреть.
Tosha, let's go watch Aladdin. Fatigue won over my desire to be with my little sister. I was washed over by some sort of heinous
Вымотался я.
apathy.
Что-то не
I'm
хочется.
too tired. I don't want to.
Пойдем.
Come
Мне
on.
скучно одной, а мама
It's so
занята
boring
всё
alone and
время.
mom is always
Можно выбрать
busy.
другой мультик,
We
который
can
ты
pick
ещё
a
не
cartoon you
видел.
haven't seen before.
Да я все наши кассеты наизусть
I know
знаю.
all of our tapes by heart
А
at
вот и
this
не
point.
все. Ты
Not
Питера
all of them. You
Пэна
haven't
не
watched
видел.
Peter
Помнишь,
Pan.
ты уснул на середине?
Remember how you fell asleep in the middle of it? I loved Peter
Там
Pan.
потом такое.
And so much happens after that. Let's go,
Давай
let's go.
попозже.
Maybe a bit later.
Рассказать тебе, чем все закончилось?
Should I tell you how it
Ты
ends?
расскажешь.
Let's leave that for
Утром
tomorrow.
не захочу.
I won't tell you tomorrow.
Придумала. А давай в прятки.
I know. Let's play hide and seek. No, oh
Тогда
yeah.
нарисуй мне
Then draw
динозавра.
me a dino.
Блин.
Oh yeah, please.
Нарисуй, нарисуй.
Draw it, draw
Оставь ты
it.
меня в покое.
Leave me alone already. I blurted out without thinking, and then I was immediately taken aback. I'd never screamed at my little sister like that. Oya stared at me in shock. Her lips started trembling, a precursor to tears. My chest was seething with disgust and embarrassment. What's happening to me? I hurried to prevent Oya from
Ладно,
crying.
уболтала. Давай
Alright,
смотреть
you win.
мультик.
Let's go watch
Уже
cartoons
не
for a bit.
хочу.
I don't wanna. I came up to her, put my hand on her
Пойдем.
soft head.
Питера
Let's
Пэна
go.
посмотрим.
Let's go watch Peter
Ага,
Pan.
ты опять уснешь.
Boo! You'll fall asleep again. I smiled and lifted her chin. Her eyes were wet and felt
Не усну,
bottomless.
обещаю.
I promise.
А
I
потом я
won't.
тебе целого трицератопса
And I'll draw you a
нарисую.
full Triceratops later. Hooray! Triceratops. Well, close enough. Oya rubbed her eyes with the sleeve of her pajamas, and a shining smile returned to her
Давай ты пока
face.
кассету перемотаешь, а я
I'll
у
go
мамы
ask Mom for
попрошу сгущенки с
condensed milk
хлебом.
and bread, and you rewind the
Утром
tape.
свежие привезли,
The
как
bread
ты
is fresh,
любишь.
just how you like it.
Неси, только
Alright,
аккуратнее, а то
Kirby.
разольешь.
Good night. Alright, just be careful not to spill the
Опять
milk,
ругаться будут.
or you'll be yelled at
Спорим, не
again.
разолью.
On the bet, I
Кассета
won't
где-то
spill
в
it.
тумбочке. Поищи
The
пока.
tape is somewhere in the nightstand. Look for it. Oya disappeared into the doorway, and I dragged my feet into the neighboring room. Alright. So let's see what we got in here. Alright, we got a piggy bank. A piggy bank. Oya is saving money for a real puppy because Dad said that taking care of him will take a lot of money. The scary window where Oya sees the accursed owl every night, lurking in the dark. Oya keeps curtains open during the day, but as soon as the twilight comes, she shuts them tight so she won't see the pair of hungry eyes. Teddy bear. Oya's countless toys. An old teddy bear is the main attraction here. Oya doesn't sleep without it. She digs her nose into its fur when she sleeps. Let's make sure we don't get anything else. Okay. Let's turn on the TV. The old photon TV was gathering dust in the corner. Look at the VCR. Yes. And the old TV with the antenna brings me back. All that was left was clicking the button on the front panel. The tube warmed up, and familiar white noise started dancing on the black screen. I almost reached up. Wait a minute. If Aladdin was playing, who turned off the TV if she was in our room the whole time? I almost reached out to turn on the VCR when the noise calmed down and blurry image appeared for a moment. Oh, it was a dark tag forest just like the one outside my window. This picture split the screen in half. Something creepy resembling human speech was coming out of the speaker. Just a few moments later, the scenery was again overshadowed by noise. Did I catch some rogue signal? Local TV station only really showed Soviet cartoons, and even that was pretty rare. And only just recently I used to always watch Robotech before school. It was so awesome. Maybe I should tinker with the antenna? What if I catch this channel again? On the other hand, Olya had asked me to find the tape. It wouldn't be nice to disappoint her. But in my sleepy state, I didn't have the strength to do all of it. Reflection in the glass. Okay, so should we set or search? Alright, I guess we're searching. I sifted through the shelves full of dolls and blue hippos from Kinder Surprise. I found the tape I needed thanks to its shabby spine. That's not Peter Pan. That's Predator. I got the black rectangle from its box. Neverland. Nice, we got an achievement. The tape inside it rustled while rewinding to the beginning. This rustle was lulling me to sleep. Drowsiness attacked me while I was squatting before the TV. Images whirled in my head. Me and Olya flying above the forest, tumbling in the soft clouds. My little sister's laughing, but her smile becomes more and more forced with every passing second. I noticed that the clouds underneath us part, bearing the bristly pine tops. Swampy darkness slurped among the trees. The wings are no longer able to hold us, and
Не
Olya...
смотришь без меня?
You haven't started watching without me, have you? My sister brought the tray with unevenly cut bread and a whole can of condensed milk.
Нет,
I rubbed my
садись.
eyes. No, come
Мама с
sit.
папой опять ругаются.
Mom and Dad are
У
arguing
них сейчас
again.
период такой.
Sorry. Mom and Dad are arguing again. They're going through
Глупый
rough
какой-то
times.
период.
Rough times are lame. On the screen, Wendy was hiding Peter Pan's shadow into the dresser. Olya was entertained by the cartoonish dog Nana.
Может, и нам родители собачку купят?
Maybe Mom and Dad will buy us a dog too.
Ага, как же.
Yeah,
В
right.
Неверляндии у меня будет своя
I'll have my own
собственная
dog in the
собака.
Netherland.
И кошка.
And a cat. And a parrot. Olya smeared a slice of bread with a thick layer of condensed milk and handed it to me.
А у тебя все молочные зубы
Have you
выпали?
lost all your baby
Конечно.
teeth? Obviously. Olya frowned deep in
Питера
thought.
Пэна зубы молочные.
Peter Pan has baby teeth.
Вдруг со взрослыми зубами тебя
What
не
if they won't
пустят в
let
его
you go to
страну?
his land with
Мы
adult
что-нибудь
teeth?
обязательно придумаем.
We'll think of
Попросим
something.
папу исправить тебе возраст
We'll
в
ask Dad to
паспорте.
alter your age in the
С чего это
passport.
папа будет документы подделывать?
And why would Dad forge documents? Olya took a bite from the sandwich and started talking with her mouth full.
Будет. Мама говорила, что он так делал.
Mom,
А я
Dad,
послушала.
he did that before.
Смотри, уши вырастут, как у Дамбо.
You'll grow ears as big as Dumbo's. Olya got worried and touched her ear. I smiled to myself. My little sister was silent now. She just devoured bread watching the adventures of Peter Pan, Tinkerbell, and James Hook. And if she got sucked into the fairy tale Neverland, or as if she got sucked into the fairy tale Neverland. To be honest, I also imagined myself there, in a land where one never ages, where one argues over little things, where one listens to fights and the sound of broken plates at night. Oh, sorry. I missed some words there. I imagine myself there in a land where no one ever ages, where no one argues over little things, where no one listens to fights and the sound of broken plates at night. It felt like I was dreaming with my eyes still open. Then my sister's scream pulled me back to reality. Tasha, shut the curtains fast!
Никто
Why?
же на тебя не смотрит.
No one's watching you.
А когда
It's
темнеет,
dark,
прилетает
and when it's dark, the owl comes.
Я боюсь.
I'm scared. I got out of bed, fighting my drowsiness, and closed the curtains. I did my best not to look outside toward the treetops, towards the taiga forest, which seemingly drew closer and closer. Of course, it was just a visual effect from the shadows of branches scraping the snow. Tosha, Mom thinks I made the owl up, and Dad too thinks I'm a liar since I'm small. But the owl exists. Honestly it does. You do believe me, right? That it comes every night and... I swiftly grabbed Olya's hand and looked her in the eyes. I was trying to transfer at least some of my courage and determination. But did I really have those qualities? Yes, I believe you, alright? Just don't nag our parents about it anymore. They're already dealing with a lot, so they'll just get mad at you. Come and tell me if anything happens. And I'll look. And don't look out the window. But it wants me to look. Doesn't matter. Act like it doesn't exist and never existed. Like it's made up, just like Mom and Dad say. It'll get tired of waiting and fly away. Oh look, it's Alvin. Sorry, it's the Rescue Rangers, Chip and Dale. Looks like she went to sleep. We followed Peter Pan's adventures as if nothing happened, as if the forest didn't kidnap kids, as if our parents weren't tearing each other apart bit by bit. Captain Hook was running away from a crocodile, and Captain Pan was headed to London on a gilded sailboat. By some miracle, I lasted longer than my little sister. Olya's eyelids had dropped. She started snoring lightly, resting her chin on the side of the bed. I stood up and left Olya's room. I was looking out the window, studying the field, when Mom peeked into my room.
Довольно баловства.
Enough
Завтра
playing
первый день
around.
в школе.
It's your first day at
Ложись,
school
тебе надо
tomorrow.
выспаться.
Go to bed. You should
Не
sleep
хочешь же ты,
properly.
чтобы тебя все дразнили
You
Соней?
don't want to be teased for being sleepy, right? Adults think everything is so simple. As if sound sleep would ensure my classmates would like me. I covered myself with a blanket up to my neck and listened to the house humming, to something invisible rustling in the corners. My inner voice had a question for me. Do I want to hear that mysterious flute again? Yes or no? Maybe it's just a part of growing up and I can't fully understand my own desires. The forest wailed behind the barrier that was my walls. Something ethereal. Some ethereal entity wandered the fields. Branches shook, as if calling for me. The wind howled on and on in the night. My thoughts were annoyingly flies that entered my head before becoming weak and tangled. I didn't notice how I fell into slumber. It has come, after all. The day I feared the most. The first day of a new school term. Alright, that's episode 1. So we're now in episode 2, which is time to play with you. Alright, so we're going to take a slight break before we continue. It's 10:30, so we've been going for about 2 hours for one chapter. That's pretty good amount of time. We aren't dead. Nope. So we have survived to go to school the next day. Just gonna check on my wife, just stretch my legs, rest my voice for a second, and then I'll be right back to do chapter 2. Alright, we are back. Thanks for sticking around. Alright. Oh, it's Vova. Time to play with you. Is that blood? New school, new teachers, and most importantly, New classmates who I always have trouble connecting with. I hear you, buddy. Like most other kids with glasses, probably. Did I miss something? No. I forced myself to get out of my warm bed. Dad would usually drive me to my old school, but this morning the bedroom of my parents was silent. Did they sleep in? Maybe it was a good thing. I didn't want to get the daddy's boy reputation from day one. My parents were probably still tucked in, dreaming about the good old days when everything was so simple and easy. Sweet dreams, even if far removed from reality. I silently snuck out to the first floor so I wouldn't wake up anybody, especially the peacefully sleeping Olya. I did my best to step on the middle of every floorboard. I used to play like this even in our old apartment. If my soles touched the space between floorboards, it counted as stepping into lava. The clock was spurring me on with its hands. I need to hurry, faster, faster. It was too fast, so I needed to circle the hallway once again. Boiling lava was bursting out of the cracks between floorboards. I needed to watch my step to survive at any cost. Hippity hop, like a frog jumping on molehills, like a fearful bunny in a grove full of wolves. It's the second time they've referenced me as a bunny. I made a sandwich in the kitchen, shoved it down my throat, and drank it down with cold tea. My appetite was as good as of someone being led up the scaffolding toward a guillotine. I lowered my gaze and saw that one of my feet was standing on two floorboards at the same time. Burnt to a crisp, huh? I moved my foot. Disgusting little snakes writhed in my belly. The fear of getting hit and being called nasty names. The clock clicked. I need to go. It was dark outside, fitting for an early winter morning. This darkness never fully left the houses around here. I took my time tying my shoes, buttoning up my puffy down jacket, trying to delay my unpleasant exit into the semi-dark, into the unnerving unknown. I rubbed my glasses for good luck, though I couldn't remember a single time these thick pieces of glass brought me any good fortune. Oh, that's not fun. The sky was akin to a giant bruise. On the east side of it, a black cloud was swelling up. So it's still night? Why are we going to school? Do we have like a long way to walk or something? It licked up the stars from the sky and extinguished the rising sun. Darkness was plastered all over the treetops. The cautious cries of birds got tangled up in the thicket. I locked the front door with a long key that I wore around my neck. My parents made me wear this noose, afraid that I, being a total klutz that I am, could lose the key otherwise. The wind whizzed on the other side of the gate. It invited me into my new life towards dubious adventures, and tagged alone like an old buddy, pushing me in the back. Wide shadows that pines through covered a third of the clearing. Upon reaching the edge of the forest, I hid my nose in the coat's collar. I was squeezing through the thin fire break, my hair ruffled up and my back hunched over. Tall trees stood on both sides of the tiny trail. A snowy blanket rustled under my feet, and the canopy of intertwined branches above my head cut me off from the already sparse starlight. The night had no plans of moving away from the forest. In this darkness, trees reminded me of shaggy old women that smelled of burial earth. Their trunks turned into cracked, wrinkled faces with holes in the middle of their mouths. If I lost focus for even a moment, mold-covered witches would drag me into the forest depths. If I lost focus even for a moment, then my parents would be walking around these parts screaming my name. But the dead can't answer the living. Whoa. Or can they? A sense of panic was growing in my chest. I was fine with Dad carrying me into the school in his hands by now if it saved me from watching the darkness rise up the ravines like black dough. It felt like someone jumped into the bushes behind me, so I turned around. As soon as I started walking faster, I heard the snow squeak behind me. The forest took a deep breath with its giant lungs. The windfall cracked, and the wind and the birds were left behind in the field. Now I could only hear the forest creak. I walked, listened closely, and the unseen presence grew stronger. As if someone was following me, trying to match the pace of my footsteps. I turned my head so fast it made my neck crunch. Ouch. A tiny trail behind me disappeared into the darkness. Tree branches overlapped, forming a natural
Есть здесь
tunnel.
кто?
Who's there? The question escaped my lips and dissolved into the unending clear creaking sound of the wooden idols, the pines around me. Why did I think going through the forest alone was a good idea? I'm either going mad, or someone had intentionally lured me away from home. Distant lights granted me a smidgen of hope. A country road. I ran there as fast as I could, as if afraid that the trail would shrink. Clawed hands will grip me by the shoulders, turn me around, and make me look at the faces of hungry forest denizens. In the end, nobody stopped me. I almost flew to the decrepit wooden bridge, disbelieving my luck. The bridge's supports bathed in a spring, tarry and ice cold. I put my hands on my knees and looked up at the forest, then snorted, trying to calm my breathing. The thicket was pretending to be asleep. It looked peaceful, lifeless. Yeah, agreed, Erasmus. The remaining part of my commute lied through a snow-laden road illuminated by sparse lamplights. I chased away bad thoughts and ran as fast as I could, from one circle of light to another, seeking protection from electric lamps. Just like in that game, where you need to be the first to proclaim, "I'm protected." Tag. Got it. In this case, the protection was flimsy at best, with darkness writhing outside its bounds. Then I noticed something remarkably eerie. In a place where the light from an inclined lamp couldn't reach, a hairy, crooked shadow came alive with a guttural roar. It almost felt like its features deterred light, its natural pose instilled fear. My eyes almost popped out of their sockets as I stood there, blinking, trying to chase away that illusion. But the shadow didn't disappear, and got even closer. My insides were gripped by horror. I stepped back and almost fell into a snow pile. The black silhouette, on the other hand, strained up and addressed me in a sweet voice. "Sneaking around, huh? Trying to steal my soul?" Words got stuck in my throat. Who could be talking in such a silky voice here, between the forest and the dormant village? "Will you say something, dummy? A cat got your tongue?" Alright, I'll bite off your nose then. That'll teach you not to poke in places it doesn't belong. A girl stood before me, judging from the voice and the silhouette. But I couldn't even reprimand myself for getting scared by a girl before noticing a gaping mouth under her hood with something dangerously shiny inside. I was stunned. From the cavity of her hood, a frighteningly real fox face was staring at me. It's just her jaws weren't moving and her eyes weren't blinking. A mask. It's just a girl with a fox mask on. At least I wanted to think that. After a surprise like that, a nervous smile involuntarily crept onto my face. I was just going to school and then you... What about me? Never seen a fox feed a dog. And indeed, there was a small dog circling the girl's legs. One of the strays that were chasing me yesterday, probably. Sorry, I didn't mean to. After hearing my voice, the dog whimpered, lowered its ears, sniffed me out, and then started wagging its tail. I guess I still smelled of bologna that I ate for breakfast. I was shifting my gaze back and forth from the dog to the girl. She didn't seem scary anymore, just weird. So you didn't mean to, huh? What's your name?
Антон.
It's Anton. And you? And I'm not. She's weird. Definitely has a couple loose screws. But she has a nice voice. My astonishment has turned into a mix of happiness and relief. This girl I don't know is definitely human, if a bit eccentric. I was also a bit angry at myself. This foxy girl was walking through the darkness without problem, and I shuddered from every little sound. Oh yeah, you can see her eyes now. I could just walk away, but this girl had piqued my interest. Next time a police officer asks me about my friends at the new place, I'll tell him I befriended a talking fox. Do you live around here? In the village? The fox giggled and purred. She spun around so hard the hem of her coat lifted up. No, dummy. Foxes don't live in villages. So you live in the forest then? Have you been living under a rock? It's obvious that foxes can't survive anywhere near humans. As long as they're foxes. Her jokes were also weird. Just like her carnival mask, paper mache with fur glued on. And a dog reminded us its existence with a loud bark. I unfastened my backpack. Dad would sometimes throw food in there without my knowledge, cookies, apples, or even my favorite crab sticks. It is. He called it a gift from the bunny. Another reference to the bunny. Treat from the bunny. The uneaten part of a business lunch or treat specifically bought for children. Parents would tell their children that a bunny asked them to deliver said treat, but it could also be any other animal, a squirrel, a bear, for example. The dog strolled toward me with mincing footsteps, with a pleading look in its eyes. The fox did definitely treat it to something, but it was probably still hungry. Why are you dressed like this so early in the morning? Going to a costume party? The girl shrugged, throwing silvery snowflakes off her nose. Jeepers, you're doing it. You're using the Instapot. Your OCD is trying to get in the way, but I'm coping through it. Nice, excellent work. And her human form along with them, turning into a genuine beast. A real fox, agile, cunning, dangerous. A moment of hesitation and you'll be ripped to shreds. She'll tear you up and gulp you down without breaking a sweat. I couldn't help but just stand there, as a stump. until I heard her calm. This is not melodic laughter hidden underneath the beastly mask. It's like a pressure cooker, Erasmus. I wish you could have seen your own mask, sweetie. I wish you could have seen your own mask, sweetie. Sweet. Did she just say sweetie? I got embarrassed. Went red up to my hair roots. We'd seen a fox in the school once when we went there with Dad, but it had patchy fur, was gray and skinny. But this girl was of fiery color and furry, just like in fairy tales. I was still rummaging through my backpack. My fingers that were searching for dog's treats stumbled upon some soft, crumpled object. You'll see. The real beasts will wake up soon. You should ask them where they got their human faces. The girl's shadow was dancing in the lamp's light. The dog yapped in agreement. I freaked out and dropped my finding in the snow without getting a proper chance to examine it. Cold wind instantly covered the hole it created with snow. The dog rushed to dig it out, wanting to get its treat. And the fox just snorted. Now I was so embarrassed I wanted to sink through the snow. It was still dark outside of the electric circle. On the contrary, the darkness seemed even more thick. All neighboring houses were sleeping deeply in its inkiness. I did my best to continue the conversation with the weird girl I didn't know. So, are you going to school? Oh my, you really are. You are a real dummy. Don't you get it? Welp, I wasn't trying to be friendly, but she can't stop mocking me. Calling me a dummy and all? I should have just moved along without paying any attention to this weirdo and her stupid dog. Why are you so mean? Don't answer if you don't want to. It's not like I care. Still, something froze me in place, tugged me toward the dark figure. A mysterious appearance, her voice that was velvety and just languid enough. I was intrigued and excited. I watched her as people watch fires burn. Oh, stop pouting. Look here. Zilka took a liking to you. The dog was digging through the snow with sharp movements, snoring loudly. The fox turned around and looked at the windows of a nearby house as if its timbered front through the white mist. The tips of her fake nose was shining under the lamp's light. And maybe someone else too. I went red again, like a boiled crayfish this time. Is she talking about herself or someone else? I hoped that the semi-dark would be able to hide my embarrassment from the girl. I cleared my throat before asking. And who's that person? I waited, counting my heartbeats. The fox didn't reply. Her sly stare was scanning the frosty patterns of someone's windows. She was reading them like a glass book. I wonder what she can see in those winter paintings. The stray stopped rummaging through the snow. It ran to me, holding my object in her jaws. It's the other mitten. Or is it the same mitten? Could it be the one I found in the forest? What's it doing here? When I looked closer, I realized it was just my mitten. Maybe Mom stuffed it in there when I was asleep? A certain missing boy immediately came to mind. Hey, do you know about Vova? I imagined the scene, silhouettes dancing in the clearing. The dance on the night when Vova disappeared. A boy who, when found, can provide a big reward and maybe save my family. I remembered my birthday when our parents promised to take me and Olya to Disneyland in Paris. But instead of a long anticipated gift, they gave me a simple brick game console. Visibly embarrassed. I was crying my eyes out back then, demanding to take me to that promised amusement park. That was the first time when Mom and Dad had a big fight. My greediness had shattered their relationship. Don't blame yourself, buddy. If only I could have fixed everything. Gather everybody I love and take them to
Ночь, когда пропал
Disneyland.
Вова, я, кажется, видел,
On
как
the night
кто-то
Vova had
похожий на тебя
disappeared, I think I
бросал
saw
в
someone
окно.
looking like you dancing under my window. It couldn't be true, but I felt like her mask became even more sly. The fox was sniffing me out.
Ты тогда испугался?
Oh, that got you worried? For yourself or for someone else? Oh yeah. As soon as I thought about my sister, my chest tightened. Oh yeah. As soon as I thought about my sister, my chest tightened and cold sweat streamed down my spine. Well then, listen closely. A boy named Anton. This is a big, scary forest. The girl stepped forward menacingly. I'm not its only tenant. The other beasts already know about you. Beware, he'll come again tonight. I shouldn't have talked to this evil in child form. Oh, sorry. I shouldn't have talked to this evil in child form, I thought, panicking. When you and your parents will be fast asleep, we'll sneak right really close and dance Macarena.
Чё?
Huh? Hey, Macarena. Look at you. Your mouth is a gape, Antosha. Oh, Antosha. So Anton, Antosha. Huh. So Anton is a abbreviation of Antosha, and so is Tosha. Got it. We did not. Let's look up Antosha. So Anton Yelkins signed his name Antosha. Interesting. So Antosha is apparently the full name for Anton. Antosha is Russian origin. It means invaluable, priceless, inestimable. Name Antosha is of Russian origin and is a boy's name. Okay. So Antosha. So it's kind of like Ashley, I guess. Like you can use it interchangeably. But this says boy. Either way, it seems like it's the full name for Anton. I never knew that. He saw me near his window at night. Yeah, right. Are you, by chance, a dimwit? No, nobody would let me go outside that late. Children go missing here, you know. I touched the plastic frame of my glasses, puzzled by her silly joke. She got me scared to death. Hey, why don't you stop fondling your glasses? I was also nearsighted once. Listen to me, and maybe you'll become smarter. Remember what do they call foxes? Cunning? My words seemed to hurt her. Hey, what did you? Sorry? Her laughter was akin to the jingle of a pair of silver bells. Just pulling your leg. Of course we're cunning. If you're agile and brave enough to befriend a cunning fox, I'll help look for your Vova. There's a reason why you're doing it, right? I shrugged in reply, her insight was
Знаю,
alarming.
почему дети повадились
I know why
соваться в
children have been
наши
swarming our
леса.
forests
Можно
recently.
найти много
Sometimes you
всякого
can find a
интересного.
lot of interesting stuff
Я вот
there.
однажды нашла
One
целый
day,
сугроб
I saw a
конфет.
huge pile of candy
Купалась
once
в
and
нем.
I swam in
Да
it
так что
until my
челюсть
jaws cramped.
A pile of candy? I couldn't deduce whether she believed in what she was saying from the tone of her voice. I showed her another smile, a fake one this
Посмотрите,
time.
какой недоверчивый.
Boo, so wary.
А что ты на
Well,
это
what will you
скажешь?
say this time then?
Alright, Jeepers. Have a good one. She held out a hand in a furry mitten. There was an assortment of sweets in her palm. In the city where I used to live, sweets like these were sold at markets or in kiosks. I saw my favorite bubblegum in a vivid wrapper, and yeah, I know what a kiosk is. In a vivid wrapper among the tasty treasure. A familiar name was on it. Turbo. A triangular fox face poked her nose towards me.
Угощайся.
Take some.
Полные карманы.
My pockets are full of these. So, should we take candy or leave it? Alright, I guess we're taking. Okay, Brambles just snuck in there with a take as well. I accepted the treat in catching a whiff of the girl's smell. Fur, fireworks, and citrus. The smell of holidays. My fingers tingled while I was carefully unwrapping the gum. Peachy aroma entered my nostrils, and something else, something unfamiliar but pleasant. A fruity cube ended up in my mouth. I started moving my molars, chewing the gum. It tasted like your usual Turkish gum, only my tongue went a bit numb. I couldn't believe my luck after opening the insert. Bubblegum insert games, the type of game where the players put bubblegum inserts into the palm and try and flip it by throwing it into the air. The player who happens to flip one or more inserts claims them as their prize. Those insults were often considered as collectibles. Nice. I looked at a Mercedes-Benz. Alexa, stop. Alexa, stop. Alexa, stop. Extremely rare and hence desirable collector's item for any boy from my previous neighborhood. My heart skipped a beat. I was barely able to tear myself off the insert, still stunned.
Это...
This
Теперь помнишь,
is...
что можно найти в
Now,
лесу?
do you see what can be found in the
Только на твоем
forest?
месте.
Still, I wouldn't go there alone if I were
Тебе
you.
вон от жвачки в забудах
You get
ходить
so
вперед.
flustered over a simple bubblegum after all.
Представляешь, что с тобой
Imagine
будет,
what would happen if
если
you find a
найдешь
travel
чемодан?
case with
Голову
these.
напрочь снесет.
It'd surely blow your mind.
unusual treats, just like everything else about her. I carefully hid the insert in my bag as if I was putting a rare butterfly in a can. The Flux giggled. This is not how things are supposed to go on a Monday morning. We got an achievement called Sweet. Who are you? I refrained from asking that question. She wouldn't answer anyway, or she'll just lie. I really wanted to see what's behind her mask. I was becoming more and more sure that underneath it wasn't just a simple young girl.
Может, Вова тоже нашел сугроб
What if
сладостей и
Vova
теперь
was
кувыркается в нем?
also found a snow pile with sweets, and is now rolling in it?
Слушай,
Actually,
он решил
what if he
остаться
decided to
здесь?
stay in the
Тогда,
forest?
наверное, ему очень
He must be
холодно.
so cold without his second mitten then.
We didn't tell her about the mitten. The wind caught her words like smoke from a fire and carried them deep into the darkness, into the creepy thicket. The trees behind me creaked with their bouncy branches.
С ним
Or
что-то
what
случилось
if
в пути.
something happened to him along the
Что-то
way?
страшное.
Something terrible.
The forest reacted to her words, became alive. It sniffed me out, perking up its ears like a curious beast. The fox girl pierced me with her eyes again. Wild
Это,
beasts?
по-твоему, страшно?
You find that scary?
Ну, не знаю.
Well, I don't
Не
know.
знает.
He doesn't know.
Источником ли я
Oh
подражаюсь?
my. Have I befriended a dunce?
I didn't like being called a dunce, yet being friends with
Я
her
хорошист.
sounded nice. My grades are
Нет,
good.
пушист.
Really now?
Пойдешь со мной?
Will you come with me, good grades Anton? We'll find your Vova, and you'll be able to ask him what he found deep in the forest. As long as you're with me, nothing can hurt you in the forest. You'll see.
Worms of worry arrived in my belly. Better run,
Я тебе
whispered
не
my
верю.
mind. I don't believe you.
Думаешь, я врунья?
You take me for a liar.
Пожалуйста.
Whatever.
Никогда не
You're
говори.
just like everybody else.
The girl sounded hurt, although I didn't know if she was genuine about it. She turned around as if she had immediately lost all interest in me. The gum felt bitter now. I remembered my dad's favorite saying, "Where are your manners? Where are your manners, son?" Indeed, this
Не
fox was
обижайся,
kind to
пожалуйста.
me. Please
Лисы
don't get
бывают и
mad.
добрыми.
Foxes can also be nice,
Ну, как в сказках.
like in
Мне бы
fairy
только понять,
tales.
что ты за лиса.
I just need to know what kind of fox you are. The girl giggled, hiding the nose of her mask in her hands.
Пойдем со мной в
Then
лес.
follow me into the forest and you'll get to know me.
Сейчас. А когда рассветет,
But not right now,
а то
when it
тебе
gets
белого
bright.
всего
I mean,
не
your whole
хватает.
body is shaking, you poor
Тобой гляди,
thing.
кондрашка хватит.
I don't want you to get a stroke.
Провожу тебя до школы.
Hey, let me accompany you to school.
After hearing this, the dog barked in agreement and stopped messing with the mitten. I leaned in, trying to grab the piece of handwear
Ну,
that almost
если
ran
тебе
away
по
from me.
пути,
Well, if we're going in the same direction, we went toward the school and lost the dawn. Here and there, the lights came on in the windows of houses we passed, as if their inhabitants were sending us warning signs. Silhouettes lurked behind curtains, dogs let out occasional barks. Spirals of gray smoke rose from chimneys. TVs bustled and dishes clanged in kitchens. We watched the village slowly rise from its slumber, while carefully treading the snowy wheel trails. I walked in the left one and she took the right one. The dog was following right behind us. I expected the fox to bring up something weird again, but she stayed silent all the way to school, as if playing with me some game only she was privy to. She would only giggle from time to time when the dog sneezed from the snowflakes that fell on its nose. I was the first to break the
как тебя
silence.
зовут?
So, what's your name?
Ну, конечно.
Here it
Имена,
comes.
имена, имена.
Names, names,
Людям
names.
непременно надо вешать
You
ярлыки
people
на всё
always need
подряд.
to put labels on
Ну и как бы
everything.
ты назвал такую
What
лису?
name would you give to a fox
не
like
знаю.
me?
Но я
I
читал
don't
про
know.
лису по имени Алиса.
But I've read about Elisa the fox. You know,
Я не
What?
против.
I don't
Пусть будет
mind.
Алиса.
I'll be Elisa.
I couldn't understand if she was joking or not. I turned around as if looking for an answer from the dog. From the dark sky devoid of dawn, my silent questions were left unanswered. The school's outline was already in our sight. A giant brick box stuck in the endless night. Lights in the windows didn't bode well for me. The warden trees were guarding the schoolyard. Screams, childish laughter, and someone's whistling tore up the silence. I went here with Mom when we just moved, and the place looked cozy at the time. Empty corridors that smelled of polished, puffy snow outside. The second time I came alone to get the books I just kept on imagining my peers rolling down the railings, grade schoolers running to the library, and teachers marching down the corridor with the air of self-importance around them. High schoolers were smoking at the entrance in track pants and wool caps perched on their foreheads. Their appearance destroyed the last hopes for a cozy school. Their stingy eyes and teeth yellow from nicotine, their smirks All of it had the same gloomy effect as the cloudy winter morning. Absorbed by my thoughts, I completely forgot about my
После
companion.
уроков жду тебя на заднем
I'll
дворе.
wait for you at the backyard after
Возле
school.
повешенного.
Near the hanged man.
Near what? She just
Не
ignored my question.
опаздывай.
Don't be late.
I hesitated. Blowing hot and cold again, Mom always said that when I... Blowing hot and cold again. Mom always said that when I would have trouble choosing between two options. Thinking about
Я
Mom
после
helped
школы
me
сразу
reply,
домой.
I'm going straight home after
Тихо,
school.
Антоша, Антоша.
Well,
Да я
Antosha,
тебя так просто
I'm going to let you off
Другие
the
же
hook.
незаметно
But the others
подкрадутся
will
со
creep
своими
up to you with
улыбочками.
their smiles and
вцепятся.
sink their teeth
Клещами
into
не
you.
оторвешь.
Won't be able to shake them off as easily.
Запомни мои слова.
Remember my words.
Whoa. The fox opened her mouth in a wide yawn. What kind of trick is this? Someone running in the distance called out my name. I instinctively turned around. A huge snowball whizzed past my shoulder and hit the dog. It whimpered and ran toward the spring. The darkness devoured it. This right here is how you write good fake creatures. Yes. The fox girl was also nowhere to be seen. She dissolved into the frosty air. Or was she hiding in my shadow? I gulped and swallowed the gum. Oops. Unlucky. After taking a deep breath, I went toward the school, toward the cutlets in the dough, toward the light raining down onto the snow. Whose nest is this, I wonder? A thieving magpie? Then it probably has all sorts of shiny things in it. Pieces of colorful glass, bottle caps, polished coins, or child braces. A tall man was standing near the gate, puffing out clouds of smoke in the wind. He didn't look like a teacher. Was he a PE guy, maybe? I carefully studied his face that looked like it was cut from a piece of granite, and his hair lip that was holding down a cigarette. He was playing around with car keys and staring back at us. The light from the cigarette was reflected in his eyes that were just sitting deep in his eye sockets. I froze in place. The hulking man lazily tore off his eyes from us and walked toward the road. There was a fresh-looking Volga parked nearby with one of its front wheels perched up on the icy curb. Black like soot, as if it was straight out of the horror story Dad loved to tell me when we hid in the attic during a thunderstorm. I remember him always wearing a sad smile while mentioning the black car that snatched children. He would say, "It looks like a funeral car on the inside, white curtains and all. And it has OSC in its license plate. Do you know what that means? That's the Soviet children." Funny, I was born in the USSR too. A buzzing crowd of upperclassmen with their winter hats tipped to the side. I better not draw their attention. Alright. So, we're not going to enter the school tonight. We're going to end it there, I think. My throat is actually getting a little sore from all the talking. But yeah, we'll go to school probably tomorrow. I'll be streaming tomorrow morning, probably around 10:30 Eastern Standard Time for a couple hours before I get onto the Minecraft server to play Minecraft with Shade, who plays Ulrich in the D&D campaign. So if you are looking to follow the story, you know where to join us and when. Tomorrow morning, about 11 hours from now, we should probably be about ready to stream. So in the meantime, thank you all for joining me. I appreciate it. This is definitely a different thing different kind of thing that we've been doing. Night in the Woods is kind of like this in terms of like a visual novel, but this feels a little bit more visual novel than that is. There's no event. It's just we haven't played Minecraft together for a while, so we were planning on getting on. Feel free to join us if you'd like, Erasmus. Anyway, we will see you all again tomorrow. Let's see if there's anybody to raid. I think we have a few people we could probably raid. Let's see. Viking is streaming. Viking came in at the beginning of the stream. So let's raid Viking. I know they took a break from streaming for a bit, so it's good to have them back. They're playing Red Dead Redemption 2, so I won't be sticking around because I've never played that game and plan on playing it eventually. So we'll see you all there. Send Viking my love. I might join without like watching for a little bit, but have a great night. Be well, be safe, be excellent. See you next time. Bye.